Welcome back, everybody. Tim Berry here, Baywatch Arms and Accessories and Baywatch Custom Powder Coating. Now, excuse me. What I'm going to do in this video is show you the tools you use or you need, which are the tools that I use particularly. So this is what I use when I'm powder coating tumblers. Okay, now first and foremost, of course, you're going to need your powder coating power unit and your powder and that kind of good stuff. You want to set up in a well ventilated area, preferably some kind of a paint booth, even if you made it with an exhaust fan. I made my own. It's just two walls in front of a window with an exhaust fan. Now, where to start? Well, let's start with the tape. You want to use a good tape, and this is a heat resistant tape. This is a 2-inch roll, and this is a 1-inch roll. These two are the primary ones that I use when I'm doing tumblers. You can get them at Columbia Coatings. That's where I get them. I will make sure to put all the links to this stuff in the description of the video. So, but I like the blue. The blue is it comes in blue, green, and orange. And the blue is the thinnest, then the green, and then the orange. This is what I suggest. I've had really good luck with it. It works really well. It is a little bit expensive, but when you're doing a tumbler and you're doing it in a good way, this goes a long way. So blue heat resistant tape. Now I also use a lot of acetone, and that's where when I'm doing after I've sprayed some powder and it's gone in for the first cure cycle, which is just to have it gelled, I use this, and I like this little squeeze bottle. The only thing you want to do in the squeeze bottle is don't leave it sitting if it's warm. If this is sealed tight, it'll squirt little bit out of there, and it'll waste it, plus it could get on your powder. So this little squeeze bottle, they have them, you can get them on eBay all day long. Just says acetone. Now of course you're going to need your vinyl. Now depending on what vinyl you're using, I like to use red. This comes in 24-inch rolls. I do have a Vinyl Express or the Vinyl Express brand cutter, which will cut up to 24 inches. And this is an Oracle 651. So you're going to need your vinyl and your vinyl cutter. This is the transfer tape that I like to use. This is it's called Transfer Right Ultra. It doesn't, that's all it says, but I believe this is an 8-inch roll. And that's what the vinyl looks like after my transfer tape's been applied. This one is which there will be a tutorial on this one. This is set up for an Arctic 30, which, when done correctly, this will wrap around completely with a little space in the back. Well, actually, this may be this is the older design. So this is made for the new design Arctics, which came out last year. Okay. Now, when you're using your acetone to wipe any smudges, any marks, or anything like that, try to stay away from paper towels. I find that the paper towels will leave lint marks and such as that, and that shows up in your final product. So, everybody's got old wore out t-shirts. Just get your old wore out t-shirts, cut them in little sections. These actually last quite a while. That's all you need right there. And just fold it up and use it, and when one side gets dirty, fold it or unfold it and redo it. Now, you're also going to need a square. This is just a machinist square, and you're going to need a combination square. Okay, and what you're going to do is, for instance, we'll use this one as an example. Well, actually, let's use this one as an example. What you're going to do is you're going to measure from the top to the bottom of this of your template or of your vinyl. You're going to set your combination square to that depth, and then you're going to take that and set it up here, and you're going to make a mark with a Sharpie, which is another tool that you're going to need, right at the bottom, and you want to center it wherever you're centering up. You want a little mark there, okay? And then you're going to take your square, lay it on top of that, make sure you're square. You're going to line up with that center, and you're going to put two little vertical marks on your tumbler, okay? What that's going to do is, you may not could see it because they've been covered up. There are two registration marks on this. You'll see a little triangle at the top and a triangle at the bottom. Those are your registration marks. That's what's going to line up to these marks that you put in there. We'll go more into detail on that in another video. Now, you're going to need a good X-Acto knife with lots of extra blades. Just get you one that feels comfortable in your hand. You just want the standard pointy one. This is the standard one. You can buy a pack of 100 of those replacement blades at Office Depot or Office Max for probably right around $5. Now, another thing, you're going to need an assortment of Sharpies. Okay. I prefer the black or the red, okay, and but you're definitely going to need this to do your tumblers. I like the fine points, and I also like the standard Sharpie with the medium points or whatever that is, permanent markers, until they get wore out, and we'll show you how to use that. It will also be in another video. You're going to need a ruler, a straight ruler. Okay, this is just a steel ruler. This is for when you're cutting out your vinyl. You're going to line up to the edge of your vinyl, cut it. So it'll next step after that's cut. Next step will be applying that transfer tape. Scissors, very important. You're going to need scissors. You're going to need it for cutting your tape, cutting your vinyl, things of that nature. Okay, your squeegee. This squeegee is starting to get wore out. I got to get another one. I've got one somewhere, I just can't find it, and it's in a box somewhere. You're going to need a squeegee for your vinyl, and most importantly, for your transfer tape. A couple of picks, okay? This is just a standard one that came with a little kit when I bought my vinyl cutter. You can see it's thick. It has it's not a real, I mean, it does come to a fine point that'll poke you, but it's a little bit thicker. I bought a set off of eBay of like 6 picks. I didn't like the handle. The handles were too thin, I just didn't like the handle, okay? So what I ended up doing was cutting off this part of it, cutting off this upper section, okay? I had another one of these X-Acto knife holders. I drilled it out a little bit and epoxied it in there. So now I have it, feels good. This is the one that I use for weeding out the small pieces of vinyl. This is the main one that I use, but I do use this one also. So those two are the most important ones. Pair of pliers. You're going to need a pair of pliers to transfer your tumbler in and out of the oven, because it's going to be hot. It's going to be enough to burn you. Now this little tool is probably the most important thing you need. I've seen these guys doing these home videos. They put a plate in here, have a nut, and they put down a paper towel. You just don't need it. This setup will run you about $20. I do believe that it comes with an extra base, because that way you can keep one on your work table, and then you take this out and put it in the one in the oven. Now, when you're ordering this, they have these heat resistant plugs. This is very important too. But what's going to happen is your tumbler is going to come down on here. This is going to make contact for your current, and it's going to sit down there. You can adjust this up and down, this little rubber piece, and basically what that does, it keeps it stable. I found a place right here. This works for 30 ounce, 20 ounce, and such as that. This piece slides on here. Now I've got to where I don't use the little clip. They give you this little clip. Basically it's a paper clip. It's for that you get at the office supplies. It holds that. It'll hold it in place. But I've got to where I don't use that unless I'm clear coating. Now that will prevent, when you're spraying this will prevent all powder from getting inside. And then you'll rotate it a little bit, spray, rotate, all that good stuff. This setup, I think, was like $19.99 with one plug. And they'll give you a choice, but I'll make sure. This is also comes from Columbia Coatings. This is the most important part here that you'll need for powder coating. Now these pliers, doesn't really matter what kind of pliers, but you see these pliers have a little curve in them. That thing fits perfectly in there. Move it from one place to the other, no problem. If you can find a set of these, get them. If you want to take a pair that has straight flat jaws and grind a little curve in it, that'll work too. Now, another important tool, a heat gun. You're going to use this. This is a Milwaukee. It has a low and a high. I very seldom ever use the high. I use the low. And what it is when you're removing decals, after your tumblers come out of the oven, it's sitting in front of you. There's a certain heat range that works really well on tumblers to get that vinyl off. And you'll begin to learn when you need to put heat in there, when you don't. When it's cold, the vinyl, after it's been in the oven, has a tendency to be a little bit brittle. And so when you heat it up, it just makes everything remove a lot simpler. It reduces, very seldom anymore do I ever have any glue residue that's left on here when I remove it, because what I'm doing is I'm applying the vinyl for the pattern I'm gelling it in the oven, so I'm basically leaving it in the oven until it just starts to melt. And then it comes out, and then I remove the vinyl, goes back in the oven for the full cure. Those are the most important tools. There are some other tools that you'll use and you'll find that you need occasionally. One, it's like this. I work on, you can see this orange is a towel. It's just a bath towel. Okay? I like to work on that because when you're dealing with, you'll get little flakes of powder when you're removing your tape, you're removing your vinyl. And when I'm working with my vinyl and my tumbler, it's laying right here on the table, and I'm laying it right there. I'm squeezing it down. I don't want a hard surface to damage my powder. Now that's why this towel's here. Now these towels, I'll use them. I can get 4 uses out of this. I fold them in half, use one side until it gets too much powder on it, flip it, and then you can reverse it and flip it again. Now underneath here, which you can't see, I have these cutting mats. Okay, I got those at Sign Warehouse. I have 2 of them. They're stuck to the table. And what I did was I used some 3M, because they go from here, which you can't see, to here. So I've got about 4 feet or 5 feet of cutting surface. I can cut use my razor knife, it doesn't damage it. And I used 3M double-sided tape to adhere these to the table. Because this work table is a, I think it's a marble or granite. It's one or the other that was free, and I made a table out of it. So that is kind of powder coating tumblers in a nutshell. Okay, you need tape, multiple sizes, most common 1 inch and 2 inch, a machinist square, combination square that's adjustable this way, pair of pliers for moving your tumbler back and forth out of the oven, couple different size picks. Okay, get ones that are comfortable in your hand. These are just too small for me. I actually have another one that was still too small, so what I did, I'll use this one occasionally, not very often, but you can see I wrapped electrical tape around it. It is this one with electrical tape wrapped around it. Gives me a better surface, but it's still not as good as this one, which you can make those. Scissors for cutting and everything, a squeegee, and a ruler, straight, good, hard. Don't use a plastic one. You'll end up, won't be as straight anymore. Now, the other thing that I think, oh, I'm sorry, and a heat gun. You could probably use a hair dryer. I've never tried it, but one thing you'll notice in upcoming videos, I do not use, or don't even try, I did in the beginning, but I do not use any kind of a transfer liquid or soapy water or anything that they sell to line this up. It's more work. If you make good use of your registration marks on your drawings, and I'll show you this real quick. Now you can see the little notches. Those are registration marks that have been cut out now. So if you make good use of these, you can put 5 or 6 layers of color on there. Continue to use your registration marks. And if you draw your pattern according to the way that's coming up in some of my tutorials, you won't have a problem, but every once in a while and you'll generally know it. And it's easy before any powder is applied. Make a new decal if you mess up and redo it. Okay, but that works. I spent several months in the beginning trying to come up with a system, and this system works really well. So the other thing you might want to have on hand is some regular single edge razor blades. You can buy those all day long at Home Depot. Get you a 100 pack. You will use those. Let me think here. See, this is a clear transfer tape. I quit using this. That's my phone going off. I used to use this, okay? And it does make it easier to see registration marks and patterns and stuff like that. But the problem I had with it, when I was peeling the transfer tape off, after I've already stuck my decal, this stuck to the vinyl too much. It wanted to pull the vinyl back off of the part. So I quit using that. That's more of a high tack. This is more of like a medium tack. I very seldom have a problem with this transfer tape wanting to pull up vinyl after it's already been applied. Works really well. You just have to overcome the visibility thing, and we'll show you all that in an upcoming video, hopefully soon. So I think I've covered the basics on what you need. And the only other thing you need is patience when you're working with this. You will learn different powders act differently. It's like for some reason the color white flakes a lot when you're pulling tape off and vinyl off. It flakes, so it loads up your towel, and then if you're not careful, that it'll transfer back to here. So you have to be careful with that. But that is the tools you need in a nutshell. And coming up soon, we're actually going to do one, and I'm going to show you everything, how I line everything up and how I do a tumbler with all the tools that I just showed you. So that is coming up hopefully soon. I just have to find time to make the video against the time of making tumblers so I can make money. So if you want to subscribe, just hit the subscribe button. We'd like you to share this with your friends. We also are on Patreon, which is, I believe, is Patreon/Baywatch Arms or Baywatch. If you'd like to donate or become a Patreon member, that is available. In the future, there will be, like if I do a design for a template, you know, it'll be free to view. But if you wanted to download that actual file, it's only going to be available for Patreon members. But it will show you, the video will show you exactly how to make this a pattern or a template for a certain tumbler. And we'll show you all that, but the actual pattern will be downloadable through Patreon only. So hope y'all have a great day. It's Monday, the 18th, and hopefully we'll see you in a couple days with another video. Everybody take care, and we will see you later. Bye.